and dozens of shots fired. At this point, 8 of the 9 people we have been able to talk with, and 8 of the 9 people have not been cooperative with our investigation, which is making it tough to locate suspects. And in this case, we are saying suspects. We believe multiple people fired multiple shots. We're thinking dozens of shots at this time. One of the victims, who was critically injured, has improved. She's in serious condition and is hospitalized. 8 of the 9 victims are at Grant Hospital and Wexner Medical Center. Some of them were taken by medics. Others were taken by people who were at this party. It was 3:20 in the morning. It was a location that is rented out. We're not saying an after-hours party, but it did happen at 3:20 in the morning, and it was a rented hall. But at this point, the detectives are having a hard time trying to get victims who were injured to speak and tell us, even their name. So we're trying to get their names, we're trying to get their injuries, we're trying to get what happened, and we're having a tough time. At this point, it does not appear to be terror-related. It was an argument that happened inside this business, this party, and it escalated into gunfire.
Why do you think they are so hesitant to speak with you?
It happens all the time, honestly. The night before, we had an incident where there were a couple people shot, and they did not want to be cooperative. A lot of people don't want to snitch. They don't want to talk about what happened to them. They don't want charges filed. They don't want retaliation. But the only way we're going to solve these crimes is if witnesses, if people come forward with what they saw.
But you're still saying it now, and I know you were saying it also this morning, suspects.
Suspects.
We're very much looking into the possibility of multiple shooters, that multiple different caliber of shell casings is found inside. Any leads on that? What leads us to believe multiple?
Well, earlier this morning we posted the case on social media. So we did receive a few anonymous tips that there were multiple shooters, and that was it. So at this point we are looking at least 2 people who fired shots, and as far as shell casings go, like you said, you even found one. We're looking at dozens of shell casings. So we are lucky at this point that none of the injuries are life-threatening, but 9 people shot, especially on Easter morning. We want to find out who did it, and soon.
Any idea, we keep saying an argument. Do we know anything about this argument, what it was about?
That's still part of the investigation. We're looking into it. It turned from a verbal argument into shots fired. And that seems to happen a lot lately. And of course our detectives are scrambling to try to get answers, try to make arrests, and the first few hours are crucial. So we need cooperation, and that's the hard part. So that's why we're reaching out to you to let the media know, to let the public know. If you see something, and say it fast, say it accurate, so we can get those people who did this behind bars.
For this party, the party place that it took place, will it face like any penalties or anything?
That's part of the investigation. Yeah. We're not sure at this point. And it appeared to be just a gathering of people. And when detectives got there, they ran out. There were shoes left behind. There were hats left behind. People took off. So we're also asking the public if there was cell phone video taken, pictures taken, license plate documented. Let us know. We can look into any lead that comes our way.
Do you know if this spilled into Cleveland Avenue? There really wasn't many evidence markers in the street, but I don't know if it inside and it stopped or inside and it spilled outside.
Yeah, at this point we believe all the shootings took place inside the club.
Okay.
And after 3 o'clock in the morning, so yeah, inside is pretty much where the investigation leads at this point.
Any more info on this type of gathering? Is this a business that you can rent?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this location in South Linden is a location where you can rent it out to throw a party, just like you would any kind of hall or anything like that.
So what was last night's event? Do we know?
We don't even know. I talked to the sergeant on scene, and he said it was just a gathering. It was just a party. So I don't think this is an occurrence all the time or every weekend, but they had rented it out last night into this morning.
Victims, one of the questions we keep getting is ages.
Okay.
Is there an age range?
There is. So there were 5 females, 4 males that were injured. The age range goes from 20 years old to 33 years old.
There's no staffing at this place, no security of any kind. It's just whoever rents it. They have the whole building themselves.
You'd have to talk with them, so, and that's part of the investigation too. Looking into, was it secure? Were there guards there? And who saw what?
But alcohol, they did have alcohol and stuff, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. From our understanding, there was alcohol there as well. So, and it could have been legal. We're still looking into that as well. But right now, we just need to know who did this, where they are. We need to get them off the streets. It's Easter. It's Easter Day. You know, people should be celebrating with their family and not have to worry about their loved ones who were shot.
So my last question is just how frustrating is that you have 8 people that you've talked with. I mean, statistically speaking, one of them would be wanting just to find the person that did this or the persons that did this.
Right.
Frustrating.
It is frustrating for detectives, and that was what they wanted me to stress, that they are not getting cooperation, they are not getting witnesses to talk, they're not getting victims to talk. And it wasn't just 9 people who were in the club at the time, there were dozens of people. We don't have exact figures at this point. So we need anyone who was there, or anyone who talked to someone who was there, come forward. You can do it anonymously. We can't do our jobs unless we have victims, witnesses, people who were part of the incident to come forward and talk with us. So yeah, it is frustrating, because you want justice for all the victims, you want justice for the community, because they shouldn't have to live in fear that there's shooters out there, but people have to cooperate.
I'm good.
Works for you guys?
Just wanted to clarify, so all the shootings happened inside the party hall, but did people who were injured come out onto the streets then?
As far as what we understand, people were shot inside that hall and then took off. So some went through paramedics, some had their friends taken to the hospitals. When our detectives got there, it was pretty sparse. People just took off. And of course, when shots are fired, people take off and run for their lives. So like I said, there were shoes left, hats left, IDs left. So we're still shots. Does that work for you guys?
Marcus, what do you appreciate me? Okay. Is it okay if I step in, fellas, and get a 2-shot?
You're good.
Is that okay?
Right here, buddy. That's good right there.
Get the back of his head so it looks like
Brian,
Dan Perlman
Brian,
or
yes.
That's good right there.
Yes.
Mike McCarthy.
We're all
Squat down a little bit.
We're I will sound so good. So I'm sure that, and this isn't for audio, you know, but please
Right. Well, and you know, we had gotten some calls, and I let the other media know that people were worried that we were getting calls from California, different parts of the state, wondering if it was terror related, and absolutely
That's
it's not.
why